Hey guys, Danny Johnson here, and I came home from work and found that my garage door was separating. So as you can see, it was kind of overlapping and falling in. And if you look down inside of it, you could see the actual screws that were coming out. So basically the hinge itself is just pulling away from the door. And so on the inside, this is what it looks like. You can see that they've just pulled completely out just from going up and down. We didn't hit the door or anything like that, just normal use has torn this apart. So for me, I found it was a little bit easier to put the door up in the vertical position so that the panels were resting downward. And then the bracket, as you can see, just came completely out. So this is what it looks like here. And it uses a very special tip on one of these bits. It's a 4-point, and so if you look at it, some of these screws that they're using, instead of having like a cross point or a Torx or a hex, it actually only has 4 points on it. So luckily I had that bit. You can probably take this out with pliers or something if you needed to, just take the whole bracket off. But I went ahead and took those screws out, and I also used this T30 Torx. And so a Torx is a 6-point, as you can see here. It's kind of like an Allen, but make sure you have the right one so you don't strip it out. And I went ahead and removed these 2 screws here. Now, as for the garage panel itself, in the up position, it's not going to be lining up very good. So you can see it's folded in on the inside. So basically what you want to do is just put the garage door back down. And so I put it down about the halfway mark here. As you can see, I went outside to make sure that it was all lined up too, and that everything looked good. And so from that point, we went ahead and screwed in the rest of these. So if you see, this plate can come out. It's really not of much use for where it was, and this is what it looks like underneath. And so what we're going to do is basically use the center hole that hasn't been used to reinstall one of the screws, and then we're going to put screws next to those as well. So I just took the exact same hardware that came out and put it right down the center one here, and it went right in. And then on the sides, I actually took a drill bit and just drilled in right next to the other 2. So that way it's going into a new portion of the garage door that's not been chewed up yet. And so I did that on each side, and then just drove screws. These are just self-tapping screws. I just got them both in on each side there. Now you can get creative too if you want. You can bring this bracket in and attach it, and then use the new part of the garage door on the right hand side that hasn't been screwed into yet. And it could definitely look a little cleaner than this. But just put in some self-tapping screws into wherever you can on the bracket to reattach it. So here's a look at one that's just somewhat temporary. I know it looks ugly. We're just making sure the door comes down on it. We make sure that the screws aren't so deep that they go out the front of the garage door. But this worked out pretty well, just to add a few more self-tapping screws and even the bracket. And that bracket could go on the inside. That'd probably be a little bit better. Also, you want to stop the garage door up here if it got caught up and bent in any places, and then just bend it out with pliers. So this is how it looks now. It turned out really well, and this will hold for now. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to the channel if you're new, and check out the video description. I have a playlist with all my home improvement repairs and installations and things like that. So thanks for watching.